You're on 100.3 FM at the sounds of Macarthur. Greg Bryant with you for the Aussie Collection Show. It's now time for Acoustics in the Room. Please welcome Greg Agar and Ciaran Gribbin. Welcome.
G'day.
Hello. Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
So, Greg, can you tell us a little about yourself to start with?
Well, I like romantic walks along the beach. And, a musician. It's all we've kind of ever done. So I play piano and sing and produce, and we spend all our time basically in every facet of music that we can get our hands into.
And Ciaran, what about you? How long have you been performing for?
Well, I'm an Irishman, but I've been performing a long time. I done my first gig at 15, but well before that I was into music. I wrote my first song at 6 years of age, and yeah, I've done practically nothing else with my life but twinkling guitar strings and singing songs. So lucky boy.
And Ciaran, you learned. Greg, you learned to play the keys at a young age. What made you choose the keys?
I don't know if I really chose it. Actually, we had a piano at home, my grandpa's piano, and at 6 I was just kind of playing a lot. My mum said, "Oh, do you want some piano lessons?" So it all kind of began there, and I never really stopped.
That's a good instrument to play. I tried learning, but it was a bit hard.
Oh, no, it's great. You've got to keep going, man.
And who inspires you both musically?
I think music in general, like we're all, there's no sort of one or two artists. I think, I was brought up in Irish traditional music at a very young age and loved all that sort of folky type stuff, but get into sort of everything from really heavy rock stuff from bands like Metallica and heavier bands to, I love a good song, so I'm happy listening to, you name it, David Bowie to, the Dubliners. I'm a happy man.
And I think you take inspiration from everything as well. So it's like a kind of collection of, like I remember playing like a jazzy kind of piano growing up until I heard Deep Purple, and I was like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? Like hearing John Lord play, I was like, I didn't know you could do that, So I felt like a guitarist trapped in a keyboard player's body until then. But yeah, it definitely opened up the world musically. So.
And you brought your guitars, and we're going to love to hear a live track. What are you going to play first?
We've been writing songs together for about 3 years now, or something. Yeah. And we thought it's about time we actually release an EP. So we've been recording them, and it's a kind of eclectic collection of songs that we've written over the time. And so we're going to do a song from that EP called All the Gold.
Yeah, it's an original song, and it's this is the very first live performance, so it's like 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, so this should be fun.
Yeah. There's the excuse anyway for anyone at home, right?
This one's called All the Gold.
Here it is, 100.3.
Just 'cause you're moving doesn't mean you're moving on. Still got a long way to go. I hear the money talks, but there's nothing it can say to bring her home. Can't buy happiness, can't buy innocence, can't buy a time machine to fix what you broke. Can't buy clarity, can't buy honesty. We only ever reap what we sow. And that's why I'm the richest man I know. 'Cause loving you, baby, is like having all the gold. When I die, I want the world to know. Loving you, baby, it's like having all the gold, all the gold, all the gold. Loving you's like having all the gold, all the gold. All the gold, loving you's like having all the gold. Were you blind or did you see the cracks appearing? Did you even want to know? How does it feel to see the woman that you love give up hope? Hear her crying, you're still lying. No denying there's a price to pay. Ain't it funny, all the money in the world couldn't make her stay. that's why I'm the richest man I know. 'Cause loving you, baby, is like having all the gold. When I die, I want the world to know. Loving you, baby, like having all the gold. All the gold, all the gold. Loving you is like having all the gold. All the gold, all the gold. Loving you is like having all the gold. All the gold, all the gold. Loving you is like having all the gold. All the gold, all the gold. Loving you is like having all the gold. And that's why I'm the richest man I know. 'Cause loving you, baby, is like having all the gold. When I die, I want the world to know that loving you, baby, it's like having all the gold, all the gold, all the gold. Loving you is like having all the gold. All the gold, all the gold. Loving you is like having all the gold.
I don't know your point 3. That was awesome.
Thanks, man.
The harmonies are great on that.
Oh,
You have good harmonies.
You like a good harmony.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we impressed at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Ciaran, you're saying for In Excess. How did that come about?
It was right place at the right time, man. I was in Australia about 7 years ago, touring for the first time, and at a party I met Andrew Farris, and we became friends over like a few nights, just sort of socialising and singing songs and talking about music, and one thing led to another, and we sang a few songs together, and just at that party, and I went back to Ireland, got on with my life. I was sort of working in music and production and writing songs for movies and stuff, and out of the blue Andrew called me and said, look, do you want to come down to Australia and write a few songs and maybe try and sing for the band? And so I came down, and I stayed for 4 days because my wife was about to give birth, so I had to get back for that, obviously, so which was more important. And I sang a couple of songs in a rehearsal studio with the band, and got the gig. And before I knew it, I was touring the world with In Excess, and it was a genuine dream come true, man.
Would have been performing in front of a lot of people, thousands of people.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, man. I was, like I said, I was gigging since I was 15 at that stage, so I had thousands of gigs under my belt, but to stand in front of, 10, 20, 30,000 people with In Excess is...
At the first gig?
Yeah.
How many people were at the first gig?
The very first gig was in Arequipa in Peru, and that was 7,000 people, and 2 nights later I was in front of 30,000 people in Buenos Aires and in Argentina.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a pretty intense, crazy... it was almost like a surreal, dreamlike state where you have to convince yourself that this is actually happening, and you're on stage, and you got to remember the words and you got to perform. But it was a wonderful experience. They were lovely, lovely guys, and proud to call them friends.
Very good. And Greg, you're doing a lot of production. How's that like?
Yeah, well, that's the other side of our performing and stuff as well, is in the studio. And when I was in my old original band, I actually found myself signed with Sony and then working in the studio at Sony. And from there, we actually kind of, when I say we, I mean Murray Sheridan, who's part of this kind of project that we've put together, who's probably still asleep at the moment, right? Yeah. We've worked on a bunch of things with people. So we were actually, we won an ARIA award last year for our production, which was cool. So after 4 nominations, it was good to get one. But yeah, I mean, there's been loads of people through the door, both at Sony and up in the studio at Hill Valley Studios. So.
And where do you keep the ARIA?
Well, apparently only the artist gets to actually have the award. They changed it the year that we won, so all I get to do is brag about it.
Yeah, you got free sandwiches though.
Yeah, right. Do you know, actually, while the awards were on, I was doing a gig in a pub around the corner.
There you go.
That's rock and roll for you.
That is rock and roll.
And Ciaran, how did you feel about being nominated for a Grammy?
Yeah, look, before In Excess, I'd sort of been writing songs all my life, and, you know, working with an artist like Madonna, where I got the Grammys, was a fantastic, another dream come true sort of situation. And, you know, it was a bizarre... I was in the studio when I got word that the song that I wrote for Madonna was Grammy nominated, and we were working on a movie soundtrack at the time, and it was a... Yes, this really unbelievably dream come true situation, you know, where, you know, you dream of songs that you're out getting on the, you know, getting out there and getting on radio and having an artist like Madonna do it, and then it gets Grammy nominated. It's like the icing on the cake. So it's been a sort of an amazing sort of stamp of approval for me as a songwriter, and you know, and I'm proud of it. But it's sort of been a starting point in many ways in my songwriting career, because it sort of has opened so many doors, and you know, working with great songwriters and producers like Greg and other people like that, it's just opened so many doors. And when I first met Greg, in fact, I think it was maybe the very first song we ever wrote was another successful song that Al Pacino sang in a movie a couple of years ago, and Greg and I have written many songs, dozens of songs since that. And
no pressure though, right?
Yeah, no pressure, but it's you know, those little moments where you do have this sort of success and you get awards and nominations for awards and stuff are beautiful, but it's not everything that you sort of hold up in your career. There are other smaller sort of tiny little songs that you've written that maybe don't get the recognition, that mean more to you than the big songs like the Madonna song. But don't get me wrong.
To have validation, though, isn't it?
It's lovely to have the validation, to have people, you know, be recognised, and, you know, people, you know, ring you up, wanting to work with you rather than the other way around. For years, that you feel as a younger artist, you're always sort of knocking on the door and trying to get noticed, and it's nice to happen the other way around and be associated with great artists like Madonna and obviously In Excess and Greg Agar, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
And do you two have any gigs coming up?
Yeah, we both do about 5 gigs a week. So sometimes more. So that's kind of like balancing like the life of a working musician is it's not all like award ceremonies and stuff. In fact, for me, it wasn't even. But we both do a lot of performing. So yeah, there's always something going on. So
and what's the best way for people to find where you're playing and contact you?
Website. Yeah. My website's gregagar.com.
Yeah, CiaranGribbin.com.
So they'll get put up there once a month and stuff. So we play kind of all around the place, plenty around the Macarthur area. So no excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
And we're going to finish with another live one. What are you going to play to finish off?
Yeah, this is another original song that Greg and I wrote, and again,
it's a happy song.
It's a very happy song.
It's a Monday morning happy song.
Exactly. Right? But we're sort of, you know, again, it's the first time we've played it live, but you know, there's a lot of sort of craziness and negativity in the world at the minute, so we wanted to be sort of putting out a sort of an upbeat, happy song, and so this one is called "Enjoy Yourself."
Yes.
Here it is, 100.3.
All those things you say, so just let it go. So get on your way and don't be afraid. Won't you taste it? You won't waste your life. Come on and live it. Life is there to enjoy. Enjoy yourself. Don't let it pass you by. Enjoy yourself. Life is short, so don't waste it. Enjoy yourself. Ain't no use in crying. Never too late, never too late. wasted. Don't let them break you down. Just leave it all behind and enjoy yourself. Life is there to enjoy. Enjoy yourself. Don't let it pass you by. Enjoy yourself. Life is short, so don't waste it. Enjoy yourself. So come on, let your worries slip away and fill it up with happiness today. It don't matter if you're straight, okay. Enjoy yourself. Life is there to enjoy. Enjoy yourself. Don't let it pass you by. Enjoy yourself. Life is short, so don't waste it. Enjoy yourself. Life is there to enjoy. Don't let it pass you by. Enjoy yourself. Life is short, so don't waste it. Enjoy yourself.
100.3, thanks for stopping by.
Oh, thanks for having us, man. Cheers.